Here's a hot take. Your home should not completely fall apart just because your attention has to go somewhere else. You shouldn't have to choose between being available for real life and keeping your family functioning. The goal isn't a home that needs nothing from you. It's a home that doesn't require you to hold every single piece of it in your head. So let's talk about it. Are you a mom who dreams of that homestead life you see on Instagram? Who feels called to Christian homemaking? You feel like you'd need an extra 12 hours in your day, along with another set of hands, just to make your home work the way you know it could. Welcome to Simply Living Homestead. I'm Amanda Carlin, wife, mama, homemaker, and milkmaid. I've learned the secret to simplifying my time and homestead so my homemaking supports my family instead of exhausting me, and it makes room for the moments that truly matter. If you're ready to get time back in your day, manage your home with confidence, grow in your homesteading skills, and train your children in the way they should go, grab your pitchfork and planner, friend. Let's get to work. If you've been listening to this episode and realizing my home really does depend on me, remembering and managing everything, that is exactly the kind of problem we work through inside my Homestead Systems Mentorship. This is one-on-one coaching for Christian homesteading women who want their homes and homesteads to work with their real lives, not against them. Together, we look at your routines, your responsibilities, your family, and the places that keep breaking down, and we build simple systems that make the everyday work easier to carry. The goal isn't to make you more productive so you can cram even more into your day. It's to help you create the home and homestead that keeps functioning even when life gets busy. If you're ready to stop holding everything together in your head, you can learn more about the Homestead Systems Mentorship through the link in the show notes. Welcome back to the homestead. Today we're talking about building a home that can keep functioning even when you don't have your normal amount of time or attention to give to it. It's not going to be perfect. It's not going to be completely caught up, but it will be functional. And when you are in a stressful period of time or life is demanding more from you than normal, this is what matters. The meals keep happening. Clean clothes are available. Dishes are moving through the system just fine. And the basic household resets are still happening because sickness, babies, work, ministry, emergencies, animals, and the busy season are all part of real life. This episode isn't primarily about delegating chores, though that is helpful. This isn't even primarily about getting someone else to take over, though that can also be helpful depending on what is happening. This is about resilience and being able to maintain enough order to not feel like everything is falling apart. If your normal capacity disappeared for a few days, would you know exactly what absolutely had to keep happening and what you could let go? So story time. I thought August was going to be my preparation month. I am starting school bus driving right after this episode goes live. The Monday after this episode, I am in the school bus twice a day. And I thought that August was going to be my month to get organized, to prepare, to tighten up my routines, to get everything ready. And I did do some of those things. But really, work started calling right about the beginning of August, and I had to do trainings, I had to do preparations, I had to get my bus ready, I had to do a bunch of things that I didn't prepare for to go, oh, I'm going to need to make that in my schedule. And so the days that I thought were available suddenly weren't, and life was feeling really chaotic. I did not feel organized. I still don't, honestly. I don't feel like I've executed some perfect plan because I didn't even have a plan. I was winging it. There are still things that I haven't accomplished that I really wanted to. But when I look around my house, the dishes are getting done. We have clean clothes. We are eating every day. I'm still cooking at home. I am not defaulting to takeout. Now, yes, I have defaulted to takeout a couple of times, but it is not the default. Right? I am not reaching for frozen pizza. I am not ordering takeout all the time. Things are still happening, and I can still walk through my living room without stubbing my toe. A miracle, I know. The house is still functioning. And when I was thinking about it and thinking about this episode, that's when I realized something. The systems are doing what I built them to do. Not perfectly, not effortlessly, but they are keeping us from completely unraveling. I have not lost my mind yet. And I've had a couple of people hear what I'm doing this winter and going, Amanda, I don't know how you do it all. And honestly, this episode is going to be a little bit about, well, how do I do it all? But I'm not going to be encouraging you to do all the insanity that I am doing. Really, I shouldn't be doing this much, and I would feel better if I wasn't doing this much. I still have work to do. This isn't some magical system where I never get to touch a dish again. If you know of one, please let me know. I would love to never have another dish again. But if I'm exhausted after supper and leave everything sitting there, tomorrow will be harder. The next day absolutely does get harder. But instead of asking, what should I do tonight? Where do I even start? What matters most? What can wait? I already know because the systems are set up and I do know what is my bare minimum or what are the things that are important, whichever feels better to you. I know sometimes saying the bare minimum feels like you're not doing enough. And let me just tell you right now, you are absolutely doing enough. Even if it is just the things that have to happen. So if you don't want to call them bare minimum, I understand. Brains can be weird like that. I don't ask myself. I tell myself, this is the thing I need to do today before today is finished. Especially important for my brain are maintaining routines that don't naturally come easy for me. If the system has too many steps, too many decisions, too much friction, I'm much less likely to maintain it when life gets chaotic. So the systems have to work on the hard weeks, not on the ideal weeks. On the ideal weeks, we can add on like another thing to do or an extra task or whatever when we have the space for that. But when we don't have the space for that, and I found if you are chronically ill or if you have ADHD like I do, we really need to be making things for our hard days and our hard weeks and then comparing our life to those days as opposed to the one day where we achieved so much it was insane. So let's get into the body of the episode. The main thing I want you to take away from this episode, if you stopped listening right now, this is the main thing I want you to take away. Don't build your home around everything you could possibly accomplish. Build a bare minimum operating system around what keeps your family functioning. And then on the days that you have extra capacity, you can do extra things. So, the first thing we're going to do is we are going to identify what actually keeps the home running. We're going to ask, what stops functioning if I don't touch it for 3 days? Okay, this is often going to be things like food, dishes, laundry, picking up papers like mail, so critical household resets, picking up mail and toys, and then tomorrow's basic preparations. Those are often going to be the things that are going to fall apart if you don't touch them. So you might have a couple more. Maybe one of those aren't there for you. I expect they all are, but maybe they're not. So you're going to want to make your own list. And you want to think of these things separate from deep cleaning, organizing, project, seasonal work, improvements, things you'd like to have done. Depending on your capacity for how clean you need your home, as in like, are you sanitizing surfaces? Are you wiping down the bathroom? I have a very low threshold for that. Like, dirt doesn't bother me nearly like it probably should. And so for me, that threshold is a lot lower or a lot higher. Which direction is it supposed to be? Either way, it's one of those things where I don't maybe touch that as much as I should, but maybe cleaning is one of those things for you too. But even with things like cleaning, there is light cleaning and keeping things at a livable cleanliness level. And then there's like deep cleaning with a toothbrush in all the cracks and crevices, right? So maybe one of the daily critical household resets is like wiping down the bathroom, making sure the sink is wiped off and the toilet is wiped off, and once a week wiping down the shower or something, right? So like sweeping the floor and making sure there's no dirt on the floor. Like those would be critical household resets where you need to get those clean so that your house like doesn't feel like you're living in a barn. right? So everything can feel urgent when you're looking at the entire house, but not everything is equally important. A dusty bookshelf is not going to stop your family from functioning, but having no clean underwear, yeah, that might. We need to know the difference. Okay? Point 2, we need to decide what good enough looks like. And I kind of mentioned this with cleaning, right? But we need to think about each of those points that you wrote down in part 1. You're going to look at each of those and you're going to decide what good enough looks like to you. What is your bare minimum? What is but okay, we talked about bare minimum a little bit. Bare minimum feels like you're looking at it from the negative angle. What is good enough? What is satisfactory, right? What is good enough for your family as a baseline? Not as the best thing for your family, but what is your baseline? So each of those things that you wrote down in part 1, you need to look at and make a what is good enough list. And what is the thing that you want to be achieving that if you don't achieve that, you're going to be feeling like you didn't do it right. Okay, so I'm going to just kind of run through some ideas that I've had, some things that I've written down. If you want to dive deeper here, reach out to me. I would love to help you dig deeper into this. I absolutely would love to tailor this for you. But these are some things that I've kind of thought of. So meals, the bare minimum might be a short list of dependable meals with the ingredients always kept on hand and using leftovers. You're cooking simpler during your difficult weeks, like things that, that might be your bare minimum. Just like, yep, we're going to eat the same 10 meals for the next 2 months, and that's going to be okay, right? The bare minimum is not an elaborate menu or cooking everything from scratch. Maybe you're going to go buy some cans and some, maybe you're going to buy your kale chopped, right? Like something that's going to, but like you don't have to do all of those things. You don't need a new exciting recipe or changing it up every single time. Okay? Dishes. Bare minimum might be the dishwasher was loaded after supper and the sink was emptied before bed. There's enough clean dishes for breakfast. Bare minimum might not be making sure that every pot and pan got washed every single time. Maybe your pots and pans pile up for a couple of days and you do when you can, right? Maybe you don't make sure that, behind all of your canisters on your shelf is like wiped off and stuff. Maybe you just wiped off the front because that's what you used, right? That might be the bare minimum. Laundry, bare minimum. Essential clothing washed. Baskets used temporarily instead of everything folded perfectly. Okay. Home reset. The food is put away. The table is cleared. The trash is picked up. The floor is swept and you can walk, right? Those are some ideas that doesn't have to be your good enough. So the question you can ask yourself is, what does this need to look like in order for us to function? Not in order for me to feel like I've done everything perfectly. What do we need to do to function? Okay. Part 3, we're going to remove as many decisions as possible. Decisions make simple work heavier. What do we eat? When do I wash clothes? What gets cleaned tonight? What needs to happen before bed? During a normal week, maybe you can carry those decisions. But really, even on a normal week, you probably shouldn't be. During a hard week, it's not happening. Every extra decision creates friction. So you want to be making that decision once and then just simply repeating it. We don't need to be asking those questions over and over and over again so that when the time comes, you already know what happens next. So remove as many decisions as possible. If it can be repeated, repeat it. It's not going to kill you, even if your ADHD thinks it will. Point 4, we're not going to let the entire system live inside your head. So you've done some really good work in the first 3 points, okay? But this isn't a delegation episode. This is not you telling everybody what to do. Instead, we're going to make the process visible, we're going to make it predictable, and we're going to make it understandable. And if you can achieve that, where it's operating like kids and husbands, and frankly myself, if I allow myself to believe it, we operate on this system where if we know what's coming, our bodies are not in constant hypervigilance mode, right? And so if we can write things down, if we can keep things like these, just it happens this way every single time, this is how it works. Someone else can come up and see, when does it happen? What happens? And what does finished look like? And so writing these things down and posting them on an empty wall, posting them at your command center. Mine are posted on the side of my china cabinet. Are they pretty? Nope. But you know what? You can walk up to them and you know what is supposed to happen with each of those systems so that things keep operating even if I disappeared. If the system only exists in your memory, it's extremely fragile. And your memory starts filling up. If you're unavailable, that system is going to disappear with you. Point 5, systems still require someone to perform them. A routine isn't magic. A checklist doesn't wash dishes. A meal plan doesn't cook the supper, and a laundry system does not move clothes into the dryer. So what does the system remove? It removes figuring it out again, remembering everything, deciding what's most important, and it removes wondering what happens next. Systems don't eliminate the responsibility. They make responsibility easier to carry because you're not constantly having to question what needs to be done. So this is still up to me to make sure that I show up and clean the table off and put it in the dishwasher and switch a load of laundry and sweep the floor before I go to bed. That's still on me. But those are small, obtainable things that I can do even when things are really, really rough. Those are small, attainable things that if I was sick, someone else could do, right? Bare minimum cannot become permanent neglect. This is supposed to be for a season. When we are talking bare minimum, that's what it is. It's bare minimum. Like, we want to be achieving more than that, but busy seasons do happen, and bare minimum mode can carry you through them. Everything will need your attention again. You need to build in periods for catching up, deeper resets, spring cleaning. There's a reason that spring cleaning is known as spring cleaning, right? We're not meant to clean every corner of our house or our cabinets with a toothbrush every week. We're just not. That's why spring cleaning exists. So we need to make sure we build periods for those sorts of things. You're not trying to lower your standard of your home forever. You're just simply trying to get through, and on your bad days, know what must be done and not have to use extra brain power on those bad days to make it through. I would encourage you to start with the place that creates the most chaos when you stop paying attention to it. I get it when you are trying to set this up and you are already in that hard season and you're like, man, I need something. This is how you're going to start. You are going to think about the thing that just feels like it's nagging at you the most or is the most chaotic when you stop paying attention to it or whatever. And you're going to do that and make that one work. And when that starts working, it will free up a portion that you can then move on to something else. Ask the question, what absolutely has to continue happening here? A functional home during a hard season is a success. You don't have to feel organized. You don't have to have all of your projects finished. And your home doesn't have to look perfect. If a friend walked in on you, honestly, I hope you have a good enough support system. I pray you have a good enough support system that if a friend walked in on you during a hard season and you had toys on the floor and some papers on the table and whatever, they go, I want to support you, not this feeling of embarrassment because you're, somehow failing, because you're not. You're not. Your family is cared for, and that's what's important. So, as a recap, the 6 things that I went over was identify what actually keeps the home running. Ask what stops functioning if you don't touch it for 3 days. Decide what's good enough, and then write that down so that you can remove as many decisions as possible. Don't let the entire system live inside your head. And then make sure you execute it. Systems still require someone to perform it. Bare minimums cannot be permanent neglect, but it can be a way forward. As your action step for the day, take one essential area that we talked about or that you were thinking about and ask, if life pulled me away from this for 3 days, what would have to keep happening so our family could still function? Then write down your answer. Make it as simple as possible. That's it. Come over and share it in the free community group if you'd like. What part of your home currently depends entirely on you remembering to make it happen? And what simple system could be set up to keep it moving? I know you can do this, and I know that you are doing a lot already. If you are in a period of overwhelm right now, I feel for you. I really do. And I want to help you get your home into a space that it is functioning without you having to be making decisions all the time. If you're hearing this and thinking, I don't even know what our systems are. Everything really does depend on me. I know things need to change, but I don't see how we can make our particular life work. This is exactly the kind of thing that we work on inside my Homestead Systems mentorship. We look at your home, your schedule, your family, your homestead, your responsibilities, and the places that continually break down. And then we build the systems that actually fit into your real life. Not someone else's morning routine, not an elaborate schedule you can't maintain. Systems that help you and your home and your homestead keep functioning without requiring you to mentally hold everything together every moment of the day. The link is in the show notes, and I would love to hear from you. If not, that's totally fine, and I hope you have an awesome week. We'll see you next time. Hey neighbor, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If so, would you take 30 seconds and share this episode with a friend who is knee-deep in their own homestead? Also, please leave me a rating or a review on Apple Podcasts. It thrills me to know that this podcast is helping you. Keep watching those sunsets, friend. I'll meet you back here on the homestead soon for another episode. See ya!